What's up everybody, it's Matt from TDM Style here, and welcome back to the channel for another hair product review video, or maybe a first look video, I suppose, how you look at it. But today, we're taking a look at the entire lineup, all three styling products from First Hand Supply. So First Hand Supply has been around for a bit, and they've gone through a kind of rebrand. So they've taken some of their old products, renamed them, put a new scent on it, and they have these new packaging, but the formulas are the same. So we've got three products today. We have their all-purpose pomade, which used to be their water-based pomade. That was their first product that they came out with. Then we have their Texturizing clay, which was originally called their styling clay, and their clay pomade, which was originally called their summer pomade, which was a limited and is now a permanent addition to the line. Now, I do want to also say a very big thank you to the gentleman over at First Hand for sending these products over for me to try. I've been meaning to try them for a long time and just hadn't gotten around to it, and recently they got in touch and sent me some products, so thank you guys so much for that. And now let's dig right in because I'm super excited to talk about these. So starting with packaging, all three products come in the same 3-ounce black plastic jar, and they've got this kind of paper lid on top that lists the name of the product as well as the ingredients. And now this looks quite simple, and what I really love about this is that this is completely made from recycled plastic. Essentially, one of these jars is made from one recycled milk jug. And I really appreciate that. I'm big on recycling and trying to do things to stop like fucking up the planet. So these guys are really all about that. Their kind of motto, if you will, is made with you in mind. They're all about honest sourcing of products and sustainability and recycling. So I really like that, and I really like that these packages are made out of recycled plastic because we have too much goddamn plastic around. So these guys are putting it to good use. Now, as far as the pricing on these, they are all the same in that respect as well. They're $20 a piece for those 3-ounce jars, or they offer a kind of trio kit of the entire line for $52. You can save yourself $8 there. And they also do the subscribe and save kind of thing, so you can save yourself some bucks if you decide you want to keep using them repeatedly. All right, next up, everyone's favorite, my favorite category of scent. Yes! Oh, it smells so good. So their scent on all three of these is the same. It's an essential oil blend, and I have it written down here. So we've got bergamot, juniper berry, lavender, wormwood, and palo santo. Yeah, and it smells great. It's very kind of herbaceous and a little bit sweet, a little bit citrusy. It just smells very clean and natural, and it does stick around a little bit once you've got it into the hair. I noticed after it settles in, it kind of dissipates, but for the first maybe, half an hour or so, you will catch whiffs of it, and it's really pleasant because I think it smells fucking great. All right, now as far as ingredients, we can kind of talk about these as a whole for some of it, and then I'll talk very briefly about some more kind of key ingredients for each one as we get into the demo footage. So all three of these products are water-based, and they all also have aloe vera juice as the second ingredient. So we know, or we have an idea basically of how they're going to wash out. And each one also has some goodies for your hair and scalp like shea butter and jojoba oil. All right, so now let's dive into each product individually. So I've got demo footage for all three so you guys can see exactly how they look and work in my hair. So let's start out with their first product, the all-purpose pomade. Now this is advertised as a firm hold, low shine, basically an unorthodox water-based pomade. And if you're not familiar with it, what that means is it's water-based, so it washes out easily, but it's unorthodox in that it doesn't, act like a gel type. So it's not gonna give you a hardened kind of helmet hair type of thing. It's gonna act a bit like an oil-based pomade, but also wash out like a water-based. And as far as the ingredients that are kind of unique to this one out of the bunch, so this has candelilla wax in there. It's got Sarah Alba beeswax as well for that hold. And then we've got some goodies in there like apricot oil, grapeseed oil. It's even got some sea salt in it. And it actually has tocopherol, which is vitamin E, which is super good for your skin and fingernails and scalp and everything. So yeah. Now the scoop on this one is really easy. It comes out smooth and creamy, breaks down, no problem at all. And it doesn't feel tacky at all in the hands, but as you apply it to the hair, you can definitely feel some grip, and it's gonna have that firm hold because you can just feel it right away. It's not tuggy or pulley. but you can definitely feel it setting up that hold, so you really have a good idea of how it's going to react and respond. Now, if you've been around the channel for a bit, you know that I'm not a huge pomade guy, and I have been experimenting with more of them recently just to kind of, figure out how they work best in my hair. And honestly, this thing impressed me big time. I've been really liking the kind of lower shine pomades, and this one is kind of that perfect level. So it's not matte, but it's not shiny. It's low shine. So it gives you a little bit more than a natural shine, but it's not too overbearing. And the firm hold is a real thing. This is one of the few products that I've tried that, I have this kind of cowlicky section at the back of my head here that likes to pop out against my will, like this way. So usually with looser products, I have to just kind of do this once in a while throughout the day to fix it. And this is one of the few products that just goes in there and is like, bitch, sit the fuck down. And it keeps that shit in place with no problem all day long. So that's something I really appreciate. And it honestly, I don't know, this surprised me in a lot of ways. Like, I didn't expect it to be as firm a hold as it is. Like, it's really strong, but it does stay malleable like an oil-based pomade would, so you can restyle it throughout the day, no problem. It doesn't harden up or get crispy or anything. Yeah, it works really well. It's very responsive to styling. What I have found is that I would recommend definitely styling with a comb with this one, be it either, a medium tooth or finer tooth comb if you want like a really clean style, or a wider tooth texture comb. I find it doesn't work great with finger combing, but I don't think it's really meant to. All right, next up is their Texturizing clay. Now this one is advertised as a medium hold and a matte to neutral or natural looking finish. And the extra ingredients in this one that make it work are kaolin clay. I fucking said it right that time.
Kaolin.
Sarah Alba beeswax again for the hold. We've got some emulsifying wax, carnauba wax, apricot oil, and some castor oil as well. Now the scoop on this one is a little bit more firm. You definitely need a little bit of pressure to get it out of the jar, but once you get it into the hands, it breaks down smooth and creamy, and this one applies to the hair effortlessly. I mean, it's a little bit drier, I guess, than the all-purpose pomade, as it should be because it has clay in it, which is naturally dry. But really, once again, no tugging or pulling. It applies super easily, even with my coarse wavy hair type. And yeah, it's basically a dream. Now this one, I've got it in my hair right now, and oh, bitch, look at how good that looks. I'm like super into this right now. This one, definitely more of a lighter to medium hold for me, especially, depending on how much you use. It can certainly be a medium hold if you layer in a couple of scoops. But for me, my sort of go-to way to use this is for, kind of hairstyles like this, where they're looser. I'm not going for big volume here. I'm not going for something that's going to stay in place all day. I'm going for something that looks, put together, but still just kind of loose and flowy and a little bit messy. And as the name implies, it gives you a really great clay-like texture, so the hair just looks really nice. And yeah, and the finish I think is spot on. I would call this a natural finish. It's not super matte, but it's not shiny at all. It doesn't take away any shine, so it's just really nice. And as the day goes on, I mean, my hair right now, bitch, like as the day progresses, this just feels so soft and just nice in the hair. It's super lightweight, which is nice, so it doesn't weigh the hair down at all. Yeah, and it ends up looking almost like you've got nothing in your hair, but it just keeps everything looking really clean. It helps with the flyaways a lot. I love this one. And last but certainly not least is their clay pomade, which you might be wondering, why do they have two clays? But it is quite a bit different from the texturizing clay. Now they do share some of the same ingredients, so this also does have, Sarah Alba beeswax and kaolin clay. Said it right again, yes. We've got some castor oil and apricot kernel oil, grapeseed oil, we've got argan oil in this one, and this also has some arrowroot powder in it. And what they were going for here, this is advertised as a firm hold with a matte finish, and the way that they describe this on their website is basically it applies like the all-purpose pomade, but it texturizes like the texturizing clay. And yeah, it's basically the best of both worlds. Now the scoop on this one, I absolutely love. It's essentially like a cloud. It's just super light. It's really spongy and creamy, comes out with no effort, breaks down with no effort. and glides into the hair, yeah, basically like they described, much like their all-purpose pomade, where it's fairly slick, but you can feel a little bit of grip in there, definitely more grip than their texturizing clay. So you can tell it's gonna have a bit more hold. It is a little bit on the drier side as well for me, I've noticed, but it's certainly nothing unbearable. Now this one, once again, is super lightweight in the hair, so this is easier for those kind of quiffy or higher volume hairstyles, which, you know, in my hair at its current length, it's getting pretty long, so I'm not getting a huge amount of volume here, but really, it does hold up quite well all day. I would say it's more of a medium firm for me. It's not super firm, not as firm as their all-purpose pomade. However, yeah, it's just as they described. It's like if they took their all-purpose pomade and their texturizing clay and mashed them together into this, that's where you get the clay pomade. And it's pretty awesome. And this stuff lasts. I mean, here's a shot of day 2 hair, and so, you know, you get a little bit more of that natural shine coming back as the natural oils of your hair kind of start to rebuild on day 2. But like, I didn't even need a dry shampoo or anything. I just kind of woke up and brushed it back into place and was on my way. All right, guys, so overall thoughts on the First Hand Supply lineup. Let's see, can I do it? Oh geez, oh geez. Final thoughts on First Hand Supply. These are really wonderful. I had no complaints about any of them. They all work great. I was very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised, by the all-purpose pomade, the texturizing clay, as I mentioned. Love it for kind of loose styles like I've got going on today. It just basically gives my hair the control that it needs without being overbearing or oily or heavy or any of that stuff. The clay pomade really is the best of both worlds put together. Endurance on all of them is great. The scent is great. I really, really love what they're doing with the recycling and just being really kind of, you know, environmentally sound. So yeah, I really like these. I think any of them are absolutely worth a try. They all work basically exactly as they're described, which I find is not always the case with a lot of stuff these days. So definitely check them out. I'll have, you know, links in the description box below as always. Thank you guys for stopping by today. I've got lots more products coming up. I'm starting to kind of catch up on my backlog a little bit, but I still have lots more stuff to get to. So if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button down below to keep up to date with all that. And as always, thank you guys so much for coming by and watching. And we'll see you at the next one.